we see that what an intense and ominous atmosphere at Caesar's house. The scene opens with what a thunder and lightning, and it creates a kind of a place of a mood of foreboding that reflects what the inner turmoil or inner confusion about to unfold. Right, Caesar when enters in his nightgown reveals that what the heaven and the earth that have been restless or called as a full of stuff, indicating that nature itself appears to be in distress and he is not settled because his wife, California, has also cried out 3 times in her sleep and warning that what? Warning of a danger. So, what does she say? She says that help, ho, they murder Caesar. Her cries suggest nothing but a prophetic fear. Prophetic fear means a kind of a means premeditated or called as a kind of a what do we say that a kind of a dream. So a future fear that something terrible is about to happen to Caesar. And this scene highlights what? Highlights both the tension in the natural world and the growing sense of surely danger surrounding Caesar. Right. So then we find out that what means we find out that how Caesar and California engage in a tense discussion over whether he should heed her warnings and stay home due to her bad dreams or not. So, in which Caesar said, "Cowards die many times before their death. The valiant never test of death." But once of all the wonders that I yet have heard, it seems to me most strange that men should fear, seeing that death a necessary end will come when it will come. So this would indicates that what Caesar responds to California's fears with a defiant speech, saying that what cowards experience the fear of death repeatedly. So coward means you. I hope you understood that somebody who
Yes,
who afraid of
already yes.
facing, yeah, afraid of facing the means any kind of a situation. But the brave face what it only wants. So he argues that it is strange for men to be afraid of death, right? And considering that it is surely part of what life. By accepting death as a natural and unavoidable end, Caesar refuses to what? Allow fear influences what actions. So his words reveal what? His words reveal his courage and death, or fatalism, you can say, belief of any kind of a cruelty. So, and also it suggests that he is willing to or he is interested to what meet his destiny, regardless of any kind of a bad signs or warnings that come before him. And this line also foreshadowing or indicating what? The Caesar's impending fate. So, yes, Caesar's impending fate means what? The kind of a fate which he is going to face means that surely come before him. And highlighting is what? Highlighting his unwavering resolve, unable to solve, to appear fearless and strong. And even if it means ignoring the potential danger awaiting him at the Senate, right? Because everything is settled, only he goes, then only the conspirators will attack him, right? So, this exchange, nothing but this exchange between California and Caesar captures the tension between what a fate and free will. Right. Fate and free will means fate is indicating as a destiny, and free will means free interest to do that. Right. As well as Caesar's tragic mistake. Right. So, what is the Caesar's tragic mistake? You can say that he's a pride. So, which stops him from means not to obey California's advice. Right. So, even after that also you would find out when the servant came and servant said that they would not have you to stir forth today, right? Plucking the entrails of an offering forth, they could not find a heart within the beast, right? So this could be known as a what, how the servant expresses the priest warning, right? So when we talk about that priest warning means somebody who gave the warning and telling Caesar, servant also tells the Caesar that they advised against him leaving the house that day. So priest have also told that what Caesar shall not leave the house that day. and in the ritual sacrifice. So the priest also examined the animal's entrails to interpret the sign. When they found the animal's heart is missing, right? Animal's heart is missing. So they took it as what? They took it as a bad sign, right? So it is nothing but a symbol of danger, or you can say death. So in Roman culture, missing vital organs, especially the heart, was considered a very unfavorable sign, right? So this foreshadowing arts nothing but a way to or making sure to California's peers, and also serves as another warning of the danger awaiting Caesar if he ignores that omen. So Caesar, however, is so self-assured or confident in his faith that he is likely to disregard or not to consider this warning, highlighting his tragic flaw. Highlighting his tragic flaw of arrogance, and also you can say that hubris or pride. So that's what you can find out here. So even we also find out where we talk about Caesar said the gods do this in shame of cowardice. The gods do this in shame of cowardice. Caesar should be a breast without a heart. If he should stay at home today for fear, no, Caesar shall not. Danger knows full well that Caesar is more dangerous than he. This is a very beautiful line. We
Yes,
are
sir.
two lions, littered in one day, right? And I, the elder and more terrible, and Caesar shall go forth. So Caesar considered himself as the means elder one, right? So
Yes,
this
sir.
creates the idea that what Caesar interprets the missing heart in the sacrificed animal as a divine rebuke against cowardice.
Sir,
So
the second means in this point, first line is Caesar. The second line described is what? The bad omens or the fear, which means the cowardness. So what is that second line?
now, do you see that? What does it say? Caesar should be a beast without a heart. If he
Yes, sir.
should stay at home today for fear, right? So, because of the fear, if he should stay, right? So, what will happen? No, so, means for fear means Caesar shall not stay, right? So, danger knows full well that Caesar is more dangerous than he. So, it means here you are talking about danger and Caesar, right?
Danger and Caesar. Yes, sir.
It is stated, no, danger knows full well that Caesar is more dangerous than he. We are two lions. We means referring to who? Now, Caesar and
Danger,
danger,
danger.
right? So we are two lions littered in one day. Littered in one day means we burn on the same day, right? And I,
Yes,
the elder, more terrible. So Caesar is more terrible than danger, and Caesar shall go forth.
yes, sir.
Got my point? So that's what
Yes, sir.
Caesar interprets and stated that what he declares that he would be heartless like the animal if he allowed fear to keep him at home, right? So means, did you understand that? What did he declare? He declares that he would be heartless like the animal if he allowed fear to keep him. So fear will make him what? At home. So that shows nothing but a confidence in his own power and bravery. And what does he claim? He claims that danger itself fears him, right? Danger itself fears him. Are you listening to me?
Yes, sir.
So danger itself fears him, and declaring that he and danger are like two lions born on the same day, with himself as the elder and more formidable of the two. Formidable means powerful of the two.
Yes,
And
sir.
this speech reflects what Caesar's excessive pride and belief in his own invincibility, right? So,
Yes, sir.
that called to what do we say that his own means pride or own ego, right? So, or own power, as he dismisses all bad signs and warnings, and convinced his wife and also servant that he is superior to any threat. He is more powerful than any danger, you can say that.
Danger.
Ah. So even after that also California said, Alas, my lord, your wisdom is consumed in confidence. Do not go forth today. Call it my fear that keeps you in the house, no, and not your own. We will send Mark Antony to the Senate house, and he shall say, You are not well today. So let me upon my knee prevail in this. So this is something called as an excuse that California means appointed. So because California is deeply concerned and tells
Yes.
Caesar what? Tells Caesar that his confidence is, covering his wisdom. So it means when somebody is in a danger, so his all knowledge will go vain, useless. So likewise also Caesar, who is in a danger, but his confidence is covering his knowledge, and she requests him to stay home and ask again and again to stay back, not out of its own fear, but for her peace of mind. Right. So California offers a solution to protect Caesar's pride by suggesting that they may send Mark Antony. Why? Now they may send Mark Antony to the Senate in his place and have him explain that Caesar's absence by saying he is not well. And she even knelt down in supplication and showing her desperation to keep Caesar safe. And her plea or her request emphasized what? The looming sense of danger. So the danger, how danger is clearly appeared, and her belief in the warning that Caesar so confidently ignores. Right. So
Yes,
even
sir.
you would also find out Caesar means calls Mark Antony, and Mark Antony also said, Caesar said to Mark Antony, what? Mark Antony shall say, I am not well. And for your humor, I shall stay to home. Now, this is something called as a Caesar's criticism to the excuse that
California.
California made. So Caesar
Yes.
finally, concedes to California's request, or called as a rebuke or rejected California's request, and criticize California's request, and state that agreeing to have Mark Antony inform the Senate that he is not well. So although Caesar agrees to stay home to satisfy her, so he feels uncomfortable. Why? Because it challenges his pride. So he views the decision what? As something he is only doing to, satisfy California, rather than out of true or authentic fear, right? Or genuine fear. So which keeps his pride somewhat intact, or called as that doesn't allow him to do that. Right. And at the same time, what happened, we know that one of the conspirator, whose name is called as Decius Brutus, so who enters, so and Decius Brutus enters the scene on also foreshadowing a turn in the situation, means completely, change the situation. So Decius Brutus' arrival introduces another voice that will challenge California's influence and Caesar's momentary decision to stay home. So even Caesar was ready to stay at home to appease California, but Decius Brutus changes that. When Caesar found out Decius Brutus, and Caesar said that what, here is Decius Brutus, he shall tell them so, instead of who? Mark Antony. So means and Caesar still contemplating staying home, and that Decius Brutus could be the one to deliver the message of his absence to the Senate. And this line actually shows what Caesar attempts to follow through the Californian's wishes, right? Though his resolve is about to be tested by Decius' influence, right? Now, and when we find out that Decius Brutus made a comment that Caesar, all hell means all good, good tomorrow, worthy Caesar, I come to fetch you to the Senate house. So Decius Brutus stated that why did he come there? He came to take Caesar to the Senate, right? So that's what I come to fetch you to the Senate house. So that's what it is stated. Then what we find out, this just greets Caesar with respect, announcing that he has come to take Caesar to the Senate, and the direct approach suggests that what this is determined, or sure to what? Sure to convince Caesar to attain, setting the stage for him to, change the mind of the Caesar, and also influencing the Caesar's pride and ego to continue him to go to Senate, despite what? Despite California's warning. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Uh, So next is called as even you talk about Caesar. Caesar also said that, and you are come in a very happy time. So who said? Caesar said to Decius Brutus to bear my greetings to the senators and tell them that I'll not come today. So cannot is false. Uh, so cannot means what? I will not come today, and I cannot come today. It indicates two different meanings, right? So
Yes, sir.
he said that cannot is false and that I dare not. So I want to say that I am not afraid of means saying that I cannot go today. So
It
false.
shows how prideful
Yes,
Caesar.
I will not come today. Tell them so, Odysseus. So in that case, you would find out um, when we talk about in very happy time, right? It is stated no, and you are come in very happy time. The meaning of in very happy time is called as at the right
The
moment.
right moment.
Yes. So Caesar actually acknowledges that Decius has arrived at the perfect time, and Caesar instructs. Excuse me. Caesar instructs Decius Brutus to convey to the senator that he will not be attending the Senate meeting that day. So he emphasizes that saying that he cannot attend would be incorrect, right? And claiming he dare not attend would be even
Is
more
more
uh,
incorrect.
no true. So Caesar clarifies what? Caesar clarifies that his absence is not due to inability or fear, but rather due to another reason to give the respect or to to respect the words of what Calpurnia's concern, and he firmly asked Decius Brutus to inform the Senate of his decision, right? So in that case, California stated that what say he is sick, right? So California requests that Decius Brutus should tell the senators that Caesar is sick, and this suggestion intended to provide a believable excuse without directly revealing her fears about the ominous sign or bad sign. So, but Caesar, who said that Sal Caesar friend a lie. Have I in conquest stretched mine arm so far? To be afraid to tell graybeards the truth. They just go tell them Caesar will not come. Right. Now, when you talk about that idea called as a graybeard, so what do you mean by graybeard? Generally, graybeard is referring to old men, right? Yeah, old men. So, which is dismissively to refer to the dismissively or called as indirectly, it refers to the senators. So it is stated, no, Caesar, Sal Caesar send a lie. Have I in conquest stretched mine arm so far to be afraid to tell those old people, right, the truth, right? So in that case, Caesar questions whether he should, means resort to lying to the senator. So is he needed or is it needed to tell the senator's lie, tell lie? So he rhetorically asks if after extending his power, after extending his power and authority so far through victory, he should now feel afraid to speak truthfully to a group of old people, right? So Caesar's words reflect what? His pride and his disdain for dishonesty. He declares once more that instructing Decius to inform the, senators straightforwardly that he will not attend. Right. So even Decius Brutus, who stated that most mighty Caesar, let me know some cause, lest I be laughed at when I tell them so. So Decius is means who is a part of the conspiracy against Caesar. So pressurize Caesar by asking for a solid reason for his absence, why he is not going to the Senate today. So Decius is concerned that without a credible reason, so the senators might ridicule him or laugh at him. So this request is also part of Decius, plan. Plan to what? Decius plan to influence Caesar and make sure he goes to the Senate. So where the conspirators await him. So in that case, Caesar said, California here, my wife. So Caesar stated the means a truth and stated what Caesar said, California here, my wife stays me at home. So California wants me to stay at home. She dreamed tonight, she saw my statue, which like a fountain with an hundred spouts, did run pure blood, and many lusty Romans came smiling and did bath their hands in it. And does does she apply for warning and portents and evils imminent, and on her knee has begged that I will stay at home today. Now, if you look into that, Caesar explains what? Caesar explains to whom? Caesar explains to Decius that his reason for staying home in his wife, his wife Calpurnia's insistence, right? She had a disturbing, or California had a disturbing dream where she saw Caesar's statue that pouring blood, pouring blood for blood from many sprouts like a fountain, with strong influential Romans bathing their hands in it while smiling. So California interpreted the dream of dream as a what? A warning of impending tragedy. Impending tragedy means called as a kind of a severe tragedy or strong tragedy. So, or something which cannot stop the tragedy, and prompting her to beg Caesar on her knees to stay home that day. So Caesar's account reveals California's deep concern and her interpretation of the dream as a nothing but a future sign or foreboding sign, though he himself remains doubtful about its importance or significance, isn't it? So then we find out that Decius Brutus, who said this dream is all a misinterpreted, right? Now you know that what to know the actual reason behind Decius not to go Senate, and also convince or influence Caesar to make ready to go to Senate. So therefore, Decius Brutus stated that this dream is all a misinterpreted. So he pointed that the dream is wrongly interpreted or wrongly understood. It was a vision fair. It was a vision fair and fortunate. Your statue spouting blood in many pipes, in which so many smiling Romans bathed, signifies that from you great Rome shall suck reviving blood, and that great men shall press for tinctures, stains, relics, and cognizance. This by California's dream is signified. So, Decius Brutus completely changed the story and made it in a different manner by using the term called as a blood. In Decius' explanation, blood is used as a what? Metaphorically or directly comparison to represent a Caesar's spirit or influence. So, see, blood can be known as an influence here. And when he said that great men shall praise, uh, great men shall praise for tinctures, stains, relics, and cognizance. So he wanted to say that great men shall gather around Caesar and soak their handkerchiefs in his spirit, which they will keep as what objects of respect, symbols of loyalty, and as also mementos. Right. So
The relics, they should keep it.
yes. So Decius reinterprets, California's dream as a positive side and suggesting that the vision or the kind of a dream of Caesar's blood flowing from its statue that gives importance, Rome's admiration, and also respect for Caesar's influence. So even Decius Brutus claims that the blood represents Caesar's spirit and love for the Rome, right, which will inspire the people of Rome. And Decius convinces Caesar that the Romans will view Caesar as a powerful symbol and drawing inspiration and honor from him, and will enjoy relics as symbols of his, legacy. You can say that, or his rule, right? So Caesar after that stated that, and this way have you all expounded it. So this way means have you well expounded it. So Caesar said to Decius Brutus that you explained very well. So Caesar impressed by Decius' interpretation and agrees that Decius has explained the dream well. The flattery and also reassurance of Decius Brutus to Caesar helped to move Caesar coward attending the move Caesar toward attending the Senate meeting, right? So where means you find out that Decius Brutus also said that what I have when you have heard when I can say, and know it now. The Senate have concluded to give this day a crown to mighty Caesar. You shall send them word you will not come. Their minds may change. So now you can find out that Decius Brutus also put a kind of another another greedy thought before the Caesar that what now Decius said that what seeking to convince the Caesar to come to the Senate, this is Brutus mentions that what the Senate has decided or planned to do what? To plan to crown Caesar as ruler that day. So even this is Brutus hints that if Caesar doesn't attend, so they may change their mind or reconsider this honor, right? So this is tactics or a tactic plays on Caesar's ambition and also subtly pressure him to attend. So, as Decius intended for the conspirators to carry out their plan to, assassinate him, right? So that's what you would find out. Then we find out that how Caesar said, "How foolish do your fears seem now, California?" So Caesar is now making California or telling California that California is a fool. So how she sees the fears, right? I'm ashamed I did yield to them, right? Give me my robe, uh, for I will go. So your robe, you understand that called as a long loose outer garment, right? So Caesar,
Yes.
dismisses Calpurnia's fears as a foolish and feels embarrassed. Feels embarrassed for what? Having given in to them, right? So he decides to what? He decides to attend the Senate after all and ask ask for his robe, right? So, and symbolizing his readiness to leave from home. So this, change demonstrates nothing but a Caesar's pride and his, vulnerability or easily affected to flattery and persuasion made by Decius Brutus, right? So then you would find out what the Publius, Brutus, Ligarius, right? Who enter Publius, Brutus, Ligarius, Metellus, Casca, Trebonius, and Cinna, right? So how many you find out? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So you would find out that several conspirators are present. So Publius Brutus, Ligarius, Metellus, Casca, Trebonius, and Cinna. So they all arrive and ready to, accompany Caesar to the Senate, right? So where they plan to execute their plot against him, or their plan means a plot for what? Their plot to kill him. So Caesar said, "Good friends, go in and test some wine with me, and we, like friends, will straight away go together." So Caesar warmly invites the conspirators, whom he sees as friends, to join him for what? For some wine before they head to the Senate. So he expresses his trust and also friendly camaraderie. Camaraderie means what? That called as a friendly means a relationship towards them. Not aware, not known of their intention. So his words reflect his confidence and trust in their friendship. So, but do not know the hidden plan inside their heart. So Brutus in aside, that every like is not the same, right? O Caesar, every like is not the same. O Caesar, the heart of Brutus desires to think upon. Every like is not the same, O Caesar. The heart of Brutus desires to think upon. So when you look into that, that every like is and think upon stated what? Now Brutus' heart cries or feels sad when he thinks that appearing like a friend is not the same as truly being a friend, right? Appearing like a friend is not the same as truly being a friend. So Brutus, who harbors or who, have a kind of a soul for the genuine loyalty and affection to Caesar, is distressed. Distressed by what? Distressed by the deception. Deception means cheating, cheating of the other conspirators, right? So he laments, he cries to himself that simply appearing as friends is far different from actually being a friend. And this inner conflict emphasizes Brutus' moral struggle, right? And his sadness at betraying Caesar, right? So, despite his conviction that it is for the greater good of Rome. Now, in that case, you can say Marcus Brutus is nothing but a big, big fool, right? Who, without even identifying the truth, so means or understanding means actuality, means completely sway out by the conspirators, right? So that's why. Now, if you look into that, the next you would find out it is exeunt, right? Means exeunt is given, which means that all the characters exit the stage, and this marks the end of the scene or act with all the characters leaving the stage. Now, when we go for the Act 3, Scene 1, what do we find out? We find out Rome before the Capitol, the Senate sitting above, right? And we find out Flourish entered Caesar, Brutus, Cassius, Casca, Decius Brutus, Metellus Cimber, Trebonius, Cinna, Antony, Lepidus, Publius, and others. So the sound of a flourish means called as a musical fanfare is heard. So, and that signals the arrival of what? The Caesar and the other important figures. The senators stand up why? Now to greet as they enter the Senate. So the group includes with the Caesar, Brutus, Cassius, Casca, Decius Brutus, Metellus Cimber, Trebonius, Cinna, Antony, Lepidus, Publius, and other senators. The formal nature of the entrance that emphasizes what the importance of the moment, isn't it? So, and Caesar at the same time said, "Are we all ready? What is now amiss?" Right? That Caesar and his senate must redress. Right? So, amiss is called as a missing or wrong, and redress is rectify or correct. Now, Caesar is asking, "Are we all ready?" Right? If everything is ready for the Senate session to begin. So he inquires if anything is wrong or means missing that needs to be addressed or corrected before proceeding the Senate. And this question shows what Caesar's desire or interest to make sure that all is in order before the formal proceedings begin. Right. So at the same time, what happened? Metellus Cimber, who is most high, most mighty, and most puissant Caesar. Right. Puissant means called as a powerful Caesar. So in that case, you find out how more Metellus Cimber means introduces Caesar by saying that, "Hey Caesar, you are most high, most mighty, and most powerful Caesar. Metellus Cimber throws before your seat." Right. So and humble heart kneeling. So you would find out that Metellus symbol addresses Caesar with a great respect, calling him the highest, mightiest, and most powerful ruler. By kneeling, he shows humility and desires Caesar's support, an act of submission and also respect. And this formality sets the nothing but a tone for the manipulation and political maneuvers about to unfold. So Caesar said that what I must prevent you, Simba, I must stop you. So I must stop you, Simba. These couchings and these lowly courtesies might fire the blood of ordinary men, might fire the blood of ordinary men, and turn preordinance and first decree into the law of children. Thy brother by decree is banished. If thou dost bend and pray and fawn for him, I spurn thee like a cur out of my way. No, Caesar doesn't wrong, nor without cause will he be satisfied. Now, do you find out that this passage is fabulous by stating that what I must up you Simba. So thee means called as a you, right? These couching and these lowly courtesies. So couching and lowly courtesies is called as a bowing means putting your head down and bending down in
Hmm.
submission, right? So, and stated that what and turn preordinance and first degree. So, preordinance is called as a decree or law established earlier. So, when he said that first decree, it is called as an earlier law or order. So, earlier one of the decree, law or order was passed. So, die means your banished is called as a punished someone by sending one to out of the nation or called as out of the state. So, and dust here it is known as a do. And fun is called as a to excessively flatter in an attempt to gain support. And spurn is called as a to reject or push away, right? And cur is called as a contemptible dog, right? So here you would find out that what Caesar responds very bad, right? In a very insulting or called as a uh, um, d- uh, demeaning manner to Metellus Cimber. Why? Why Caesar shows the kind of a demean attitude towards Metellus Cimber? Because Metellus Cimber's display of submission and telling him to stop kneeling and showing such kind of a courtesy or such kind of a behavior adds means they may influence ordinary man. What can influence ordinary man? That the way begging or called as kneeling and showing courtesies, but not to Caesar. Why? Now Caesar emphasizes that these gestures cannot change the law or cannot even change the past decisions. He reminds Caesar Simber that what he reminds Simber that his brother's punishment. What is means you can say that Simber brothers punishment was now Simber brothers punishment was he was exiled, he was banished, and it is a result of the law and that no amount of flattery or begging will sway him or called as will move this decision or change this decision. Caesar declares that he does no wrong and will not pardon anyone without a valid cause. So, his statement reflects his pride and unyielding attitude means, towards authority, underscoring or weakening his belief that his decisions are final and justified, isn't it? So, even if you talk about that, Metellus Symbol also said that is there no voice more worthy than my own to sound more sweetly in great Caesar's ear for the rippling of my banished brother. So who said? Metellus Symbol said. So means you can say that what here Metellus Simber is stating about cancelling. Repealing means cancelling or reversing. So Metellus Simber, feeling that what his request may not be enough, right? Wonders aloud if there is anyone else more worthy to speak to Caesar on his behalf. He hopes that perhaps Caesar might be more interested or inclined to listen to another person's request and change or reverse the punishment of his banished brother. So Brutus said, I kiss your hand, but not in flattery, Caesar, despairing thee that Publius Cimber may. So Metellus Cimber, Publius Cimber. So Publius Cimber may have an immediate freedom of repel, right? So in that case, Brutus shows what? Brutus shows respect to Caesar and kisses his hand, kisses Caesar's hand, and stated that, however, he makes it clear. Who makes it clear? Means Brutus makes it clear that he is not doing so to flatter Caesar and gain support. Instead, he desires, he earnestly asks, or means he wishes to ask Caesar to grant freedom to Publius Cimber by lifting the banishment. So, means you can find out that when who said that you can talk about Metellus Simba, right? Metellus, what is that called as a Metellus Simba, who requested Caesar to leave his brother. So, but Caesar did not agree to that. But when Publius Cimber, who's this one? Brutus. Brutus shows respect to Caesar and stated that what he is not doing flatter to Caesar to gain the favor. So he wants that what means Caesar to grant freedom to Publius Cimber by lifting the banishment of whom? Banishment of means Publius Cimber, and emphasizing that it is not out of false praise but genuine or authentic desire for justice. What is the justice? To make free the Publius Cimber. To make free Publius Cimber. So Caesar said that what, Brutus? So Caesar surprised and possibly betrayed, right? And surprisingly said that upon hearing Brutus' support for Metellus Cimber's request. So his reaction shows shock that someone whom he considered an ally or friend is now turning against him, right? So Cassius said that pardon Caesar, Caesar pardon. As low as to thy foot does Cassius fall, to beg enfranchisement for Publius Caesar symbol. So here you would find out that pardon. Pardon means called as a sorry, right? Sorry, Caesar, Caesar, sorry. As low as to your foot do Cassius fall, to beg enfranchisement. Enfranchisement means freedom from prison for Publius Caesar, Publius Cimber. So Cassius also joins in the plea. So you find out that who? Metellus Cimber, who approaches Caesar, then Brutus approaches, then you find out Cassius joins in the plea and asking Caesar to what? Pardon Publius Cimber and release him from his banishment. Right. So he requested, or he humbly falls to Caesar's feet and showing the deep, deep respect and submission expected in such a request. So Cassius said, I could be well moved. I could be well moved if I were as you, right? If I could pray to move, prayers would move me, but I am constant as the northern star. Now look into this. This one is stated by Caesar. Of those who true, fixed, and resting quality, there is no fellow in the firmament. Firmament means no, you can say that no fellow in the heaven or sky. Firmament means I was constant. I was constant. Shimber should be banished, and constant do remain to keep him so. So now you would find out once Cassius said that I could be well moved if I were as you. If I could pray to move, prayers would move me. Right. So, but I'm constant as the northern star. So this one is stated what? I could pray to move. So pray to others to change their minds. I would also request. Right. So here you would find out Cassius declares his unwavering supports on the matter. He says that while he might change his mind if he were in Caesar's position, and he could be, moved by others' request, right? He is steadfast. Steadfast means strong in his beliefs, much like the northern star. Who is much like northern star? Julius Caesar, which remain fixed in the sky. He makes it clear that he has always believed that what Simba should remain banished, and that belief will not change. So then after you find out Casca, who also speaks, and Casca stated that hands for me. So Casca, one of the conspirators, signals that action is about to speak louder than words. So he gestures to his fellow conspirators to act, and implying that what the time for words is over, and now their hands, right? So now their hands means what? Through the act of stabbing, right, will express their intent, right? So Casca first means what? That called as a Casca means stabbed him first. Then the other conspirators, and Brutus stabbed Caesar, right? Stab means what? You can say that to injure someone with a sharp pointed object, such as you can say that knife. So
Right.
here you would find out Casca is the first to strike or hit Caesar, and followed by the other conspirators, including Brutus, who despite being what? Who despite being a trusted friend of Caesar, participate in the assassination, and this makes the dramatic turning point in the play. Right. So, with Caesar's assassination symbolizing the betrayal of both his power and his closest friends or allies. So, Caesar finally said, "No, at you brute, then fall." Caesar dies. So, at you brute means what? Even you, Brutus? So, means you can find out that as Brutus, whom Caesar trusted as a friend, also, delivers a fatal blow, right? So, deadly hit. Caesar's last words expresses what is a shock, his disbelief, right? At you brute, right? Meaning even you, Brutus, highlights what? Highlights his feelings, highlight his feeling of what? Ultimate betrayal by someone so close to him. Means his dying words show what? His dying words show the depth of his what? The depth of his emotional response to this act of, means treachery, or called as a perfidious attitude or infidelity. So then you would find out Cinna. Cinna said, "Liberty, freedom, tyranny is dead. Run hence." Proclaim, cry it about the streets. Right? Who? Cinna. So what we can find out that when we talk about tyranny, so means what Cinna is trying to do? Cinna is trying to say that what means the dictatorship of Julius Caesar is over, or oppressive rule is over, right? So, and declared or to announce officially that what means the uh, means liberty, freedom, tyranny, right? Tyranny is dead. So, Cinna, celebrates. Cinna celebrates Caesar's death, declaring that with his demise, the Romans are nothing but freed from his what tyrannical rule, right? He orders his men to spread the news throughout the streets. What? Now, announcing that the oppressive rule of Caesar has ended, and liberty and freedom have been, restored to Rome. And this marks the conspirators' belief that what? They have liberated Rome from Caesar's rule. Although the consequences of their action will unfold tragically when you find out whom. Now, Mark Antony. So Brutus stated that what? "I thank you," right, Brutus, "for your kind words, but I cannot forgive myself." Brutus said, "I thank you, Brutus, for your kind words, but I cannot forgive myself." So here Brutus does what? Expresses his gratitude for the sympathy and support shown by others, but reveals his inner turmoil because he also repented, stating that he cannot forgive himself for his role in Caesar's assassination. And this shows his what? Nothing but a guilt and regret. Why? Because Caesar is his friend. So Cassius also said, "Brutus, you did love Caesar, and your actions prove it." So Cassius also accepts or acknowledges Brutus' previous love for Caesar, but also emphasizes that Brutus' action. So, despite his feelings, proved his loyalty to Rome over personal affection. It highlights what the moral dilemma Brutus faces, right? So, then you would find out Antony, "Caesar, thou art revenged." It means you are revenged, even with the sword that killed you, right? So now, what do you find out? Antony reflects on the irony, right? So Antony reflects on the what? Irony that Caesar is avenged by the very sword that ended his life, isn't it? So this statement, weakens the vengeance, right, or called as a revenge that Antony desires for Caesar's death, right? So you can say that Cassius said what? "The mighty Caesar is now gone. May his soul find peace." So Cassius reflects means in a solemnly manner on Caesar's death and accepting his power and the impact of his rule, while wishing what? Wishing for his powerful or peaceful afterlife. It describes that what complex feelings surrounding Caesar's passing. Right? Brutus said, "We are free, yet at what cost?" Right? So Brutus, contemplates what? Contemplates the consequence or the end of Caesar's death. While the conspirators may have secured their freedom from tyranny means cruelty, Brutus questions whether the cost of that freedom is Caesar's life. So that is too high. So, because when you talk about freedom and Caesar, Caesar is most powerful freedom. So, which is nothing but to give Rome freedom. So, Caesar's life is something like too costly. So, Cassius said, let not the past define us. We must act for Rome's future. So Cassius encourages the group to focus on what Rome's future and setting aside their past actions in order to build a better future. And you can find out that this is nothing but an indication, right? This is indication what? This indicative of his pragmatism and vision, or called as a future for Rome beyond Caesar's rule. Right? Antony said, if Caesar is dead, let us mourn. If Caesar is dead, let us condole sense or do the silent prayer, but not forget his greatness. So Antony said that. So Antony acknowledges Caesar's death, accepts Caesar's death, but also requests what those who around him not to forget us how Caesar's contributions and greatness for the Rome. It explains.
Sorry, I flat the pages so that I wanted to see what further in this is in this chapter. I see large and long speeches of Antony, which are like almost means I felt like this chapter is a mixture of Chinese and English. Here,
That is known as the archaic language,
yeah,
Shakespearean language. During the Shakespearean period, you can say that. The topic Julius Caesar, which is written by William Shakespeare, right? If you talk about that, it is a powerful drama, right? That centers on the moral and political struggles. So you can say that that moves on the what moral and political struggles of Rome and its leaders. Okay, so especially focusing on Brutus and his inner conflict. So if you see that what the play opens with what? Julius Caesar. Who is Julius Caesar? A skilled and celebrated Roman general. So who returns to Rome after a victorious military campaign against the sons of Pompey. So Pompey the Great had once been a respected leader, both military and politically, of the late Roman Republic. And his defeat by Caesar signifies what? Caesar's rising dominance and influence in Rome. Right? As you find out that Caesar returns, he is met with whom? He is met with a great admiration and support from the people. You find out that Mark Antony, who is Mark Antony? Now, one of Caesar's loyal friend or friends, allies. So, who offers Caesar a crown, and that signals what? The people's readiness to see Caesar as a ruler with even greater power. So, Caesar refuses the crown.
not once but thrice.
But this act of what? This act of refusing the crown concerns among some of the members of the Roman Senate. Some of the members of the Roman Senate. So when we talk about Roman Senate, I hope you understand the Senate is called as a king's palace.
King's palace, yes, sir.
So the Roman Senate, you talk about that Cassius. Who is Cassius? A senator.
Yes, sir.
So becomes particularly fearful of Caesar's potential or power to become a dictator. When we say dictator, it means called as a strong ruler. So
Yes, sir.
Caesar, driven by, or you can say that Cassius, who is moved by jealousy and the fear of what? Losing his own power. So begins what? Cassius begins plotting Caesar's assassination, right?
Yes, sir. By raising a conspiracy.
Yeah.
So
So
exactly understand what is this word conspiracy?
uh, conspiracy means secretly planning to kill somebody. So,
Okay.
or making a plan, secret plan. So Cassius begins, plotting Caesar's assassination. Why we use the word assassination when we talk about any of the famous person, right? So, whose murder has been secretly planned is known as a Caesar's assassination. So
Okay.
here also Caesar's assassination. So Cassius begins made the story or plan for killing Caesar. So and determined to stop whom? Caesar
Caesar.
from gaining absolute control. When we talk about absolute control, it means despotism or called as a uh, autocratic rule, right?
Autocrat.
Or all the power. So by all the power have with the one person. So Cassius knows that his conspiracy will only succeed if it has the supported by someone the people respect. And what does he find out? He sees Brutus. Why Brutus? Because Brutus is known for his integrity and love of Rome, right? So everybody loves, everybody knows Rome because of his patriotism, because of his love of Rome, and he has also huge respect as one of the ideal ally. So Cassius believes that if Brutus joins, what will happen? The assassination will appear as a noble act. Means people will believe that what Julius Caesar might be wrong, and for his death is okay.
Yes, means
So
for the goodness of Rome, his
yeah.
death was inevitable.
So the assassination will appear as a noble act that is done for the good of Rome rather than a political conflict or political maneuver. So Brutus, who is an idealist who genuinely wants to protect the Roman Republic, so joins the conspiration. So and who convinced that others share his patriotic motive. So, however, his trust in their shared honor is a tragic mistake. His trust in their shared honors is a tragic mistake, as his idealism, or his own theory that actually blinds Brutus to the less noble ambition of others. So he believes that he is the most and he thinks the best about Rome, and others are not that. So, in a chilling twist, what do we find out? Caesar is killed. Where did he kill? He was killed at the foot of a statue of Pompey. So,
Pompey.
Pompey, Pompey, the very man whose defeat had elevated Caesar's glory. Now you find out that Caesar defeated, Caesar, Caesar defeated Pompey, and his statue was there. So, and Caesar was killed at the foot of a statue of Pompey, the very man whose defeat had, means made Caesar what? Powerful as well as you can say that praise a lot. The the setting that becomes a symbolic and reminds us that what? Reminds us that power and glory in politics often, passing. Power and glory. Glory means victory. So that often, fleeting. Fleeting means what? Passing quickly. So overshadowed by, betrayal and moral conflict. So generally, when you talk about power and glory, so that they were hidden. Hidden by what? Hidden by betrayal. So you would find out somebody who have the power, somebody who got the victory. So definitely they are hidden under the nothing but a betrayal and moral conflict. So when we talk about moral conflict, moral means called as a principle. So people will not follow the rules, right? That is what. Fine. Let me just give you the details of the history of it. When I talk about the story of Julius Caesar, it is deeply rooted in actual Roman history. So,
Okay.
and that's set in the final day of the Roman Republic. So, when we talk about Roman Republic, so Roman Republic is an era that marked the transition from a republic. That marked what? The transition, the movement from a republic, where power
Movement
was,
from
uh,
movement from a republic.
yeah, this era, the era.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm talking about the era which is spotted the movement from a republic,
Okay.
where,
Means, sir, but the Rome was already kind of a means like monarch country, right? So how it would be?
now when we talk about monarch country, monarch means what? Obviously means we can talk about a republic means what? What do you mean by that?
Sir, republic means where means a state where everyone has rights to vote.
Yeah. So when we talk about the means era marked the transition from a republic, so movement from a republic, it means called as a though although you find out the monarchy rule is there, so still people have the importance a lot, right? So where power was held by the Senate, what do you find out? Power was held by the Senate.
Senate.
To an empire dominated by emperors, right? So, but the historical context indicates that what? Now, people have also a lot of importance at that time, right?
Okay.
People can do a lot of things. Now, if I talk about that, the first thing is called as the rise and conflict of Julius Caesar and Pompey. That is the first part. So when we talk about Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great, they were initially, allies, right? So do you understand the meaning of allies?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Sir, when one or more than one sorry, two or more than two countries means they together form alliance so that they can become a big power.
So we talk about that associated with one another as a supportive hand, isn't it? Can we say
Yes,
that?
sir.
A person or group that helps to other, isn't it? So that is called as an ally. So when we talk about that, Caesar and Pompey the Great were initially, supporting to each other in the Roman political sphere. Along with, you also find out Marcus, Licinius, Crassus, right? So they formed the first triumvirate, 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 in the year of 60 BC, an official political alliance. So, who makes the political alliance? Unofficial political alliance. You can talk about that. So, they are nothing but Marcus, Licinius, Crassus, and Pompey, right? So, they formed the first triumvirate in 60 BC, an unofficial political alliance that allowed them to do what? They allowed them to dominate Roman politics. So Caesar was ambitious and wanted to expand his influence through military campaigns. So you find out that Pompey, Licinius, Crassus, Marcus, so they formed one of the unofficial political alliance, and they allowed what? Now allowed them to dominate Roman politics. So, but when we talk about Caesar, Caesar was ambitious also, and he wanted to expand what? His influence, right? He wanted to expand his influence through military campaigns, while Pompey had gained respect as a skilled military leader, right? Now, after Crassus died in 53 BC, right, the alliance between Caesar and Pompey became strained. Strained means what? That called it very difficult, right, or problematic. Caesar's growing popularity and success in wars, particularly his victory in Gaul, made him powerful, which threatened or which created nothing but a kind of a problematic or a threatening situation for Pompey and other Roman senators. Now, why do people or called as these conspirators kill Caesar? When we find out that Caesar and these people are allied to each other, or allied to each other, or one another. So you would find out that it's all about nothing but the wealth and you can say that expanding the, you know, place, geographical place. So we find out that what means Caesar's power threatened Pompey and other Roman senators. And finally, what happened? This tension led to a what? Civil war. This tension led to what? Civil war. So civil war between whom? Civil war between Caesar and Pompey. So the war between Caesar and Pompey is known as a civil war, right? So when we talk about civil war, Caesar famously crossed the Rubicon River. So in 49 BC, a decisive act of defiance. So it is a purely a kind of a defiance decision, right? That led to the Roman Civil War. That led to what? Roman Civil War. So Caesar came out, or Caesar emerged victorious, and Pompey fled to Egypt, where he was associated with what? He was associated, where he was, you can say that, assassinated. So when Pompey's death occurred, so Caesar became the unrivaled leader. No one can, go against Caesar. So he is an unrivaled leader of Rome. So there you would find out what Caesar's power and the fear of dictatorship. Now, after his victory over Pompey, so Caesar returned to Rome as a what? As a hero. And what did he do? Now he took control of the government. Took control of the government. So he was appointed dictator perpetuo. Dictator perpetuo. So what do you mean by that? When we say dictator perpetuo, which means called as a dictator for life. So, and this particular appointment held in the year of 444 BC, right? So, and which effectively placed him above the, you can say that, Senate's power. So many afraid of that, Caesar intended to abolish what? Many feared, many have that fear that what Caesar intended or Caesar wanted to eliminate the republic and establish himself as a monarch, right? So people's government instead of people's government. So Caesar wanted to do nothing but a monarch rule. So it is a concept Romans detested and associated with what? Associated with the tyranny. Caesar's refusal of the crown offered by Mark Antony, so is indicated what? As indicated or depicted in Shakespeare play that symbolizes his rejection of the title of king, even though he held absolute power. So without crown also, he can carry the absolute power, right? Generally, the king carries the absolute power, but rejecting the title of king can also make seizure that what he has the absolute power. So to the people, however, it suggested that what it suggested that he might one day interest for the title. What kind of a title? That to become king, right? So therefore, this is the kind of a thought came to the mind of the conspirators and conspirators, and that's why they have planned to do the assassination of Julius Caesar.
Okay, means they by themselves thought that because the Caesar was unrivaled and his influence was increasing in Rome, so they thought that there was a threat that Caesar would adapt dictatorship or autocracy and become the sole king of Rome.
Yeah, so that's what you can say. So fearing Caesar's growing authority and his popularity become a dictator or king. So a faction of senator means some of the senators, including Marcus, Junius, Brutus, and Gaius Cassius Longinus.
What
So
is this us in their name?
Ah,
Everyone is us, US.
so Marcus, Junius, Brutus, Gaius, Cassius, and Longinus. So they planned to do what? They planned to kill or assassinate him. While Cassius was driven by personal grievance, so Cassius has a different mode. Right. Cassius has a genuine, you can say that what Cassius was driven by personal revenge and the fear of losing power. Brutus acted out of genuine, genuine belief. Genuine belief that what? Now, Caesar's death was necessary to save the Republic or Rome. Right. So, on the ideas of March in the year of 44 BC, March 15, so Caesar was attacked. Caesar was attacked by whom? Caesar was attacked by the conspirators in the Senate, where he was dying from multiple stab wounds. Multiple stab wounds. In a poignant and symbolic moment, you can find out that he was murdered. He was murdered at the base of what? At the base of a statue of whom? Statue of Pompey. So
Pompey,
he,
yes, sir.
Pompey, his former rival, reminding everyone of the what? Cyclical nature of power struggles in Rome. So aftermath and the fall of Republic. So you can find out that Caesar's death, instead of restoring the Republic, plans to hold Rome tightly into the pit or into further chaos or confusion. Mark Antony, a close ally or friend of Caesar, so who incited the people? Who incited whom? The people. Incited the people of Rome against the conspirators to a passion speech. So, what is that passion speech? We identify that uh, the means you can say that the writer William Shakespeare's play as the famous Friends, Roman, and a countryman speech. So here you would find out that means um, Mark Antony, who is doing nothing but what inciting or called as encouraging Roman people, right? And stated about that what how his speech that incites whom that incites or encourage people to go against it, right? So you can say that what when the assassination led to another civil war, and Brutus and Cassius they faced attorney sorry Antony and Caesar's adopted heir. The assassination led to another civil war. So you would find out that Cassius faced Antony and Caesar's adopted heir. Octavia. Octavia is what? That indicate about latter Augustus war or latter Augustus Caesar. The conspirators, you can say that the the conspirators were eventually do what? Eventually defeated and leading to the rise of what? The rise of Octavian. Octavian as Rome's first emperor. So therefore, the assassination that we intended to save the republic or save the people, that led to its what? That led to its uh,
Edwards.
So you can say that what did I say here? Led to its collapse, isn't it? So therefore, the assassination that was intended to save whom? Save the republic. Ultimately, what happened? What? Now it leads to the collapse of Rome, isn't it? Because people start loving Julius Caesar a lot, and uh, they could get the success means if who now, Mark Antony shall not go to the dice and tell about Julius Caesar, right? So you can say that what the assassination that was intended to save the republic, but finally what happened? Now it leads to collapse, as Octavia assumed. Octavia, so Octavia is another character who assumed absolute power and established whom? Established the Roman Empire. So if I talk about the importance of the history in this, so the story of Julius Caesar serves as a what? Serves as a reflection on power, loyalty, and the fragility. Fragility means that called as a conjuice or weakness. So and the fragility of the republican ideals in the face of ambition. Caesar's death or Caesar's assassination that marks are nothing but a pivotal or important points in Roman history. It leads to the what? It leads to the fall of the Roman complex and the rise of the Roman Empire. And this history also describes what? This history also describes the complex interplay of personal ambition, public duty, and the struggles of the poor,
So
struggles for
poor.
poor. So theme that Shakespeare masterfully brings to the life in joy, right? Or in his play. Now, if you observe that what there are characters, so the first character is called as Julius Caesar, so a celebrated Roman general and a statesman. Caesar returns to Rome after a victorious campaign. So, despite his refusal to the crown, some believe he aspires to become dictatorship, leading a group of conspirators. So, including his friend Brutus, right? Yeah, his friend Brutus, who assassinates him. So, or to assassinate him. So,
Brutus, Cassius, and what else there was? Marcus. Marcus Brutus. It is the same person. So Brutus, Cassius are the two main things which I remember, and all the other names are like.
okay, so you understood about Julius Caesar, so the character. So second is called as a California. Now, who is California? So California is
Caesar's wife.
Caesar's wife. So, and why California is so important in this text? So you can say that what California, Caesar's wife, is a superstitious, which called as a blind believer. So, and deeply concerned for what? Caesar's safety. She wants Caesar not to go to the Senate on the IDs of, or you can say that what on the IDs of March due to the ominous ominous dreams. Ominous means called as a threatful dreams, and bad signs and symbols. So, but Caesar's ambition leads him what? Ignore what? Ignore her advice. Right? Whose advice? That called as a California's advice. Then the third one is called as a Mark Antony. Who is Mark Antony? Now, Mark Antony is none other than Caesar's loyal friend.
Most
So,
loyal friend.
yeah, loyal friend, loyalist friend also, and ally.
Sir, you
So,
know why this hat is for?
ah,
Sir, why this hat is for? You know that? Do you know that?
what?
Sir, I am now graduated in Roman history.
Okay, so you can find out that what Mark Antony, Caesar's loyal friend and ally. So Antony, feigns. Antony feigns allegiance to the conspirators. So feigns allegiance means what? Now he understood that means the people who are present here are nothing but what?
Nothing but
They are the conspirators, right? So, and they killed Julius Caesar, right? So when Mark Antony, who is the loyalist or loyal friend and ally of Julius Caesar, Antony feigns allegiance. So when we talk about feigns, F-E-I-G-N-S, feigns allegiance, it means to pretend that Mark Antony is loyal to someone or something. So you would find out that the conspirators who involved to kill Julius Caesar, so they also invited Mark Antony. So, and what happened here means Mark Antony also pretended or showed that what? Now he was with them, he was with the conspirators.
because
So,
he had no other way.
yeah. So Caesar's loyal friend Mark Antony so showed or pretend that what he was with the means conspirator,
Conspirator.
right? So why? Now to protect himself. That is one of the reason. Later,
Because sir, there were a lot of conspirators who had already stabbed Caesar. No one was with him. He was alone.
yeah, later you would find out that in his powerful funeral speech, you would find out that Mark Antony in the powerful funeral speech. So he made nothing
Yes,
but
sir.
a powerful funeral speech. So he turns to the uh, people or audience and speak against the conspirators and branding these conspirators as a traitors. So when we say
Traitors.
that traitors is called as a betrayed, right? So that is why we understand that what how Mark Antony is very important. The fourth one is called as a Marcus Brutus. So when we talk about Marcus Brutus, so Marcus Brutus is a respected Roman senator, right? And Caesar's friend. Brutus joins the conspiracy. Why? Now, out of his love for Rome. So he has a excess or much love for Rome. And he has also belief in republic. So he
Yes.
fears Caesar's potential rise. Caesar is turning powerful and he's rising to absolute or his ambition to, absolute power or control over everything, but is driven by honor and the good of Rome rather than personal jealousy. But he did not show that what he was jealousy of means uh, jealousy of he was not jealousy. He was not jealousy of Julius Caesar, right? So
He only joined the conspirators because he thought it was good for Rome.
it was good for Rome and also honor and the good of Rome rather than personal jealousy. So then we find out Cassius. Who is Cassius? A talented general, and the mastermind behind the conspiracy, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
Cassius um, shows the anger, right, or called as a resent, or always have a look at Caesar's power, and also tries to manipulate. So when we say that manipulate, it means called as he is trying to cheat. So manipulates Brutus, or called as Cassius is trying to control Brutus. Why Cassius tries to control Brutus? Because he wanted that what his only presence or only motive to kill Julius Caesar is not means possible, and it will come before the public. So he wanted someone who should, who should means who should
Means
yeah, who should go for who should be believed by the people, and the people consider that the person's what. And here Marcus Brutus, who is truly love for the country, so people will easily believe him. So he did not want, Cassius did not want that what now Julius murdered would be appeared like what means a political maneuver, right? So he wanted that what Julius Caesar murder must be observed like what means observed like what Caesar did something wrong, and for the betterment or for the safety of the country, so they killed, right? Not because of the politics. So here you will find out that what Cassius shows anger, Cassius power, and manipulates Brutus into believing that Caesar poses what Caesar poses, what do we say that? Caesar poses a threat. So threat means what? Dangerous for or dangerous to Rome. And ultimately winning him over to the conspiracy. So Cassius wanted, and Brutus made it correct. And why did Brutus show his, so that what he is a partner, he is associated with the conspirators, because he believed that what now he found that Caesar was dangerous for the or dangerous to Rome, and that's the reason means Brutus associate with these conspirators, ultimately winning right over, so winning him over to the conspiracy. Now the you also find out the other one is called as a Decius Brutus. So when I say Decius Brutus, so who is Decius Brutus? Now he is also a conspirator. So what does he do? Now who plays a crucial role in what? In convincing Caesar. Why? Why convincing Caesar? Now you can say that means one of the conspirator is Decius Brutus, who convinced Caesar to ignore California's dream or California's warning. So what is the California's warning? That called as a means Caesar is in danger. So even Decius Brutus convinced Caesar that her dreams, whose dreams? California's dream.
California's dreams.
California's
Very
dreams.
good omen.
So California's dream are manipulated and coaxes him to go to the Senate or forces him to go to the Senate. And that leads to the death of him. Did you understand? Countrymen and lovers, hear me for my call, and be silent that you may hear. Believe me for my mine honor, and have respect to mine honor, that you may believe. Censure me in your wisdom, and awake your senses, that you may the better judge. If there be any in this assembly, any dear friend of Caesar's, to him I say that Brutus' love to Caesar was no less than his. If then that friend demand why Brutus rose against Caesar, that is my answer. So what is my answer?
Not that I loved Caesar. Not that I did not love Caesar.
Not that
I
not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more.
more.
So had you rather Caesar were living and die all slaves than that Caesar were dead, to leave all free men? As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, do you understand the meaning of valiant?
No, sir.
Courageous. As he was valiant, I honor him. So, but as he was ambitious, I slew him. There is a tears for his love, joy for his fortune, honor for his valor, and death for his ambition. Who is here so base that would be a bondman? Bondman means slavery. If any, speak, for him have I offended? Who is here so rude that would not be a Roman? If any, speak, for him have I offended? Who is here so vile? Vile means wicked, or called as a, wicked in nature, or someone who is uh, in a nature of cheating, or called as
Yeah.
clever, you can say also. Uh, so, who is here so vile that will not love his country? If any, speak. For him, have I offended? I pause for a reply. Now, what do we find out here? Brutus asked the crowd to be patient till he ended his speech. He said that
Yes.
if they respected him, considered him to be a wise man, then they must believe him too. He added that if there was any close friend of Caesar, then he should know that Caesar was a dear friend of whom? Brutus also. Then he gave the reason for him to go against Caesar. Then why did he go against Caesar? If he was the dear friend of Caesar and be a part of the conspiracy to murder him. He said that he loved Rome more than he loved Caesar. He said that what? Rather than have Caesar leave and all the people of Rome to be his slaves, it was better that Caesar was dead and all the people lived with the freedom.
Hmm.
Brutus was sad that Caesar was dead, as he was a beloved. He was happy that Caesar had been a, fortunate man. He honored his bravery, valiant, but he killed him, murdered him due to his ambitious nature. He called out if there was a slave or who did not love Rome in the gathering, who had been offended by their act. He waited for a reply from a gathering. So those people who present all said, all means all the people who gathered there, they said none. Brutus, none. So the gathering present over there was no one who considered his that the act of killing or assassinating Julius to be wrong.
Yes.
Brutus
That's
then,
why
uh,
Brutus.
so Brutus said that, then none have I offended. I have done no more to Caesar than you shall do to Brutus. The question of his death is what? Enrolled in the Capitol. His glory not extenuated. When we say that extenuated, his glory means he did a lot of things that are not diminished.
That are
So,
not
extenuated, which means called as a lessened or diminished. Diminished means decreased. Like he did all the good things, all the things which are betterment for the Rome that are not decreased or diminished. It means your praise or your good things will not be decreased before the Roman people,
yes,
wherein
sir.
he was worthy, nor his offenses enforced, for which he suffered death. So you can say that what Brutus said, that then he did not offend anyone by killing Caesar, as the
Hmm.
people could kill him also if he become or if he became ambitious like Caesar. The reasons for Caesar's death had been given in the Capitol, just like Caesar was glorified for his good deeds. Glorified means pride for his good deeds. He had been punished for his wrong acts. At the same time, enter Antony and others with Caesar's body. So
Yes.
here comes his body, mourned by Mark Antony. who, though he had no hand in his death, shall receive the benefit of his dying. A place in the commonwealth, as which of you shall not? With this I depart, that as I slew my best lover for the good of Rome, I have the same dagger for myself, when it shall please my country to need my death. Now, when you talk about the commonwealth, it indicates about the free republic.
Okay.
So, here it is stated that Mark Antony arrived with Caesar's body, and you find out Brutus said that Caesar's body had arrived, and all felt sad by his friend Antony, who had no role in Caesar's killing, but he shall get the benefit of being a part of the free republic. Brutus,
Okay.
Brutus ended his speech by saying that,
With
ended his speech by saying that he was ready to face the same knife or same dagger that had killed Caesar if his country wanted his death. So all said, Brutus, leave, leave, leave. The crowd raised with the slogans that it wanted Brutus to leave. The first
okay.
citizen said, bring him with the triumph home unto his house. The first citizen said what? The first citizen said that Caesar's body be brought with the celebrations. Second citizen said, give him a statue with his ancestors. The second citizen said that Caesar's statue should be erected along with his ancestors. It means his ancestors were whose statues were made like them. So Caesar's statue should be erected along with them. So the third citizen said, let him be Caesar. So third citizen said that what he should be kept alone as Caesar. Fourth citizen said Caesar's better parts. So shall be crowned in Brutus, right? Caesar's better parts shall be crowned in Brutus. Now in that case, the fourth citizen said that what the good qualities of Caesar's, the good qualities of Caesar are what are there in Brutus, and for that he should be crowned as what the emperor of Rome. The first citizen said that we will bring him to his house with shouts and clamors. Well, oh. We will bring him to his house with shouts and clamors. Right. So the first citizen again said that what they would carry Caesar's body up to his house with the shouts and uproars. Uproars means noise. Brutus said, my countrymen. So second citizen said, peace, silence, Brutus speaks. So first citizen said that peace ho. Peace ho means what? Means everyone. The first citizen said that ask for what? Ask for silence. Brutus said, good countrymen, let me depart alone. And for my sake, stay here with Antony. Do grace to Caesar's curves and grace his speech, tending to Caesar's glories which mark Antony. By our permission is allowed to make. I do entreat you, not a man depart. Save I alone till Antony have spoke. Now, what do you find out here? Brutus said to the crowd to let him leave alone and for his sake stay there with Antony. So it means he wants to depart and he allows Antony to what? Antony to make his speech. So they must give respect to Caesar's body and listen to Antony's speech. And that's why he requested everyone to become silent. As he would praise Caesar. Who would praise Caesar? Antony or Antony's speech. The Senate had the Senate had allowed Antony to speak and that no one should leave till he has complete his till he has complete his speech. Exit. Now Brutus left. What happened? Means the first citizen, stay home and let us hear Mark Antony. So the first citizen asked the crowd to remain there and listen to Antony. Third citizen said, "Let him go up into the public chair. We will hear him. Noble Antony, go up." So third citizen asked Antony to go to the dais. Dais, you understand? So stage, as they were ready to hear him. Antony said, "For Brutus' sake, I am beholding to you." So what that "I'm beholding to you." Antony said that he was observing the crowd for the sake of Brutus. So it means what? He thanked to Brutus, that what? Brutus gave him the opportunity, right, to speak before the crowd. So goes into the pulpit. Antony walked down to the stage, goes into the pulpit. It indicates that Antony walked on to the stage. So four citizens said that, "What does he say to Brutus?" It means you can understand Antony thanked to Brutus by stating that he gave him the opportunity to speak before the audience. So four citizens said, "What does he say to Brutus?" So, because why did Antony refer to Brutus? They showed that the crowd was, sensitive and was not ready to hear anything against Brutus. Third citizen said, "He says for Brutus' sake, he finds himself beholding to us all." It means third citizen clarified that he said that he was observing the crowd for the region of Brutus. Fourth citizen said, "It were best he speak no harm of Brutus here." So the fourth citizen also warned that it would be good for Antony if Antony did not speak anything against Brutus. The first citizen said, "This Caesar was a tyrant." Tyrant means cruel. So a cruel ruler. So the first citizen spoke up that Caesar was a dictator, despotism, absolute, right? Autocratic in nature. Third citizen, "Nay, that's certain. We are blessed that Roman is rid of him." The third citizen added that, "For sure, nay, they had been blessed by getting rid of Caesar." So Caesar was killed, and that was good for, or blessing for the Rome.
Means it clearly shows that they are affected by Brutus' speech.
Yes, sure. The third citizen added, so second citizen said that, "Peace, let us hear what Antony can say." So, and they listened to Antony's speech. Antony started and said that, what? "You gentle Romans, peace." Then citizen said, "Peace, so let us hear him." Antony addressed the crowd as gentle Romans. And the citizen asked each other to be at peace and hear him. Antony said, "Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do leaps after them. The good is often interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus has told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault. And grievously had Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man. So are they all? All honorable man. Come, I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He has brought many captives home to Rome. Who? Caesar has brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers feel. Do this in Caesar seem did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar has wept. Ambition should be made of a sterner stuff. Yet Brutus said he was ambitious. And Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal, I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus said he was ambitious. And sure, he is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove, what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled to Brutus' beast, and men have lost their region. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me. Now, what do you find out here? You find out Antony asked all his friends, his countrymen, the Romans, to hear him. He was there for the burial of Caesar's body and not to praise his worthiness. What he did not come to praise that. The wrong acts done by men are remembered even after their death, but their good acts are forgotten as soon as they die and are buried with their bodies. The good Brutus had said what? That Caesar was an ambitious man, and if he was one, it was a serious misdeed committed by him. If Caesar was an ambitious man, then it was a serious misdeed committed by him. He had got a serious punishment for it and had to pay for it with his life. He was speaking at his funeral with the permission of all the honorable men of Rome. Who? Antony. He said that Caesar was his friend. He was faithful and just to faithful or just to him. On the opposite, Brutus said that he was an ambitious man. It means Caesar was a faithful, loyal person. But Brutus said he was an ambitious man. Brutus was a noble man, it was considered that he was speaking the truth. Did Caesar's act of capturing many enemies and bringing them to Rome, for whose return Rome had earned a lot of money? It shows that he was an ambitious man because, capturing all the enemies, many enemies, and bringing them to Rome is nothing but profitable for the Rome.
Hmm. Because other countries have to pay for the return.
Yes, and it shows that he was an ambitious man. And Caesar used to cry to see the poor man cry. But an ambitious man required to be hard hearted. Brutus had alleged Caesar to be ambitious, and he was a noble person. So he was saying the truth. On the opposite, at the feast of the Lupercal, when we talk about Lupercal, no, Lupercal is called as the feast of the god Lupercus. Lupercus was the protector of flocks and herds, the god of fertility. So Lupercal. So what did Antony say about this Lupercal? So Antony said that what? On the contrary, at the feast of Lupercal, Antony had 3 times offered whom? Caesar. What? The crown. Why? Not to become the king. So, but he refused it 3 times, which did not show that he was ambitious. Again, Antony said that what? Brutus was a noble man, and he had said that Caesar was ambitious. So he added that he did not want to prove that Brutus was wrong, but he wanted to put forth the fact that what? That he knew what was the truth. Yeah. So he knew when Caesar were true. All the people of Rome loved Caesar, but something was stopping them from mourning his death. He was very sad and he had lost, he had lost his heart, which was lying next to Caesar's body in the coffin. So he wants to say that what? He was only alive, but had lost his emotions upon finding the dead body of his friend Caesar. He stopped himself from speaking further, as in his anguish, he would speak words which were not appreciative or appreciable. The first citizen said that, methinks there is much reason in his saying, right? Methinks There is much reason for in his saying. So the people react on hearing Antony. And the first citizen says that Antony's words make sense. Second citizen also said, if thou consider rightly of the matter, Caesar has had great wrong. So the second citizen also said that if the first citizen felt Antony to be right, then Caesar had been wronged by the senators who had killed him. So the second citizen also felt that what his murder or his assassination was a big mistake. The third citizen said, as he masters, I fear there will a worse come in his place. Now, third citizen identified that and said to the first and second that he afraid of that the next emperor or next ruler would be worse than Caesar. So four citizens said, marked ye his words, he would not take the crown. Therefore, this certain he was not ambitious. So four citizens identified the statement and said that what? Antony said what? That Caesar refused to the crown, which indicated that he was not ambitious. The first citizen said that it is found, if it is found so, some will dare abide it. First citizen said that what? They must bid goodbye to Caesar. So second citizen said that poor soul, his eyes are red as fire with weeping. So second citizen also said that by looking at Antony's eyes, that Antony's eyes had turned red as he had been crying, weeping. Third citizen said there is not a noble man in Rome that Antony. So Antony was the most noble man in Rome. So fourth citizen said that now mark him. He begins again to speak. So Antony continued his speech. Antony
Sir,
said,
but right?
huh?
He said that I will pause because my heart is in Caesar's coffin. So paused.
I will pause means what? Means he said that what Caesar's death make him silence or his heart is not with him. It is with next to the Caesar's body. So then after Antony said, but yesterday the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. But yesterday the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. Now lies he there, and none so poor to do him reverence. O masters, if I were disposed to stir your hearts and minds to mutiny and rage, I should do Brutus wrong and Cassius wrong, who you all know are honorable men. I will not do them wrong. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself and you, than I will wrong such honorable men. But here, but here is a parchment with the seal of Caesar. I found it in his closet. This is his will. Let but the commons hear this testament, which pardon me, I do not mean to read. And they would go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds and dip their napkins in his sacred blood. Yeah, beg a hair of him for memory, and the dying mention it within their wills, bequeathing, bequeath, bequeathing it as a rich legacy unto their issue. Now, excuse me. Antony said that what? Till the time Caesar was alive, his words were heard, but now his speechless body was lying. Lying where? There. There was no one in Rome who was so poor that he could not pay respect to Caesar. If Antony showed the anger towards the crowd and guided all the crowd to revolt against Caesar's killers, then he would do wrong to Brutus and Cassius, as he had promised them that he would not speak bad about Brutus and Cassius. As why? Because they were honorable men. He would not speak bad. So bad about them. Rather, he would speak bad about the dead Caesar, about himself. about the people of Rome. Antony presented a document with the Caesar's seal on it, which was nothing but called as the Caesar's, kept in the Caesar's cupboard. And it was what? It was his will. He was hesitant or reluctant to read it, as the people would be stirred with emotions upon hearing it. Because what that will is all about, they would react by kissing Caesar's wounds, dipping their handkerchief, napkin or handkerchief in his blood to keep it as a memento. Memento means a reward. So begging for a strand of his hair as a
For
what?
memory,
Huh?
as a memory
Yeah.
of him.
Begging for a strand of his hair as a memoir, and would pass these things on to their next generation to be kept as a rich heritage as the memoir of the noblest Roman Caesar. So then four citizens said that what we will hear the will, read it, Mark Antony. So the four citizens immediately said that they wanted to listen what was written in the will. The will, we will hear Caesar's will. All the people asked Antony to read out Caesar's will. Antony said, have patience, gentle friends. I must not read it. It is not me to know how Caesar loved you. You are not. It is not proper. You know how Caesar loved you. You are not wood. You are not stones, but men. And being men, hearing the will of Caesar, it will inflame you, means create fire in you. It will make you mad. This good you know not that you are his heirs. See how clever Antony is. So he said that it is good you know not that you are his heirs. It means he already pointed that the will is indicating that what? You are the heirs of his property. For if you should, oh, what would come of it? So you can, do you hear me?
In sir, he says, means he demonstrated, or he said what Caesar's will was, but at the same time not saying it.
Yeah, no, he said everything, but he presented that
But
he was not saying.
not saying it.
So Antony asked the crowd to be patient. He said that the will must not be read to them. He did not want to tell the crowd that Caesar loved the Romans, as they were neither made of wood nor made of stones, but were living men. They would get very angry and become mad to know that Caesar loved them so much that he had, surrendered all his belongings, all his possessions in the name of the people of Rome, and he feared the consequences of it. Four citizens said, read the will, we will hear it, Antony. You shall read us the will, Caesar's will. Antony said, will you be patient? Will you stay a while? I have overshot myself to tell you of it. I fear I wrong the honorable man, whose daggers have stabbed at Caesar. I do fear it. Antony wondered if the crowd would be patient enough to hear him. He thought that he had exceeded his limits by referring to Caesar's will as by reading it out. So he afraid of that he would harm the reputation of the all those honorable men, Brutus, Cassius, who had conspired and killed Caesar. Four citizens said they were traitors, honorable men. The four citizens replied that the conspirators who had killed Caesars were traitors. All said the will, the testament. So they were villains. Second citizen said they were villains. They were the murderers. The will, read the will. You will compel me, Antony, in a very clever manner. You will compel me. You are forcing me to read that. Read the will. Then make a ring about the cups of Caesar. Then make a ring, make a circle, and let me show you him that made the will. Shall I descend? And will you give me leave? So it means he wanted to go in the middle of the crowd. So Antony said that as the crowd had forced him to read that will, he wanted them to form a circle around Caesar's body. Why? Yeah, so that these honorable people shall not create obstacle. He would
Uh,
show them the Caesar who had made the will. He wanted permission to come down from the stage so that he requested to, you know, give them the way or give him the way. Several citizens said, "Come down." Second citizen said, "Descend." Third citizen said, "You shall have leave." The third citizen said that Antony had their permission to come. Antony said, "Comes down." So fourth citizen said, "A ring, stand round." Then Antony, "If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. You all do know this mantle. I remember the first time ever Caesar put it on. It was on a summer evening or summer's evening in his tent. That day he overcame the nervy. Look, in this place ran Cassius' dagger through. See what a rent the envious Casca made. Through this the well-beloved Brutus stabbed. He gave all the conspirators' name that were how they killed Caesar. And as he plucked his cursed still away, mark how the blood of Caesar flowed it, as rushing out of doors to be resolved, if Brutus so unkindly knocked or no. For Brutus, as you know, was Caesar's angel. Judge, O you gods, how dearly Caesar loved Brutus. This was the most unkindest cut of all, for when the noble Caesar saw him stab, ingratitude, more strong than traitor's arms, quite vanquished him, then burst his mighty heart, and in his mantle muffling up his face, even at the base of Pompey's statue, which all the while ran blood, great Caesar fell. Oh, what a fall was there, my countrymen! Then I and you and all of us fell down. Vilest bloody treason flourished over us. Oh, now you weep, and I perceive you fell. The dint of pity, the dint of pity, these are gracious drops. Kind souls, what weep you when you but behold? Our Caesar's vesture, our Caesar's vestures wounded. Look you here. Here is himself, marked as you see with the traitor. Now see that how beautifully Man's anchor, how beautifully Antony spoke these lines and introduced all the conspirators who involved in Caesar's death or Caesar's murder. So Antony said to the people that what if they had tears in their bodies? So people who have tears in their bodies, then they must prepare themselves to cry. He showed Caesar's cloak. When you talk about cloak, that refers to mantle. He showed Caesar's cloak, which he had worn for the first time. The mantle, which he had worn for the first time when he had defeated the Gallic tribes in 57 AD. He showed the crowd the wound that had been instilled in Caesar's body by the jealous Casca. Jealous Casca means jealousy. So Casca who become jealous of uh, Caesar. He said that as Casca took out the dagger from Caesar's body and blood flowed along, the blood gushed out or came quickly of Caesar's body as if it had tried to resolve the issue due to which these men had stabbed him. He added that Brutus was so unkind as he stabbed Caesar mercilessly without any kindness. Brutus was loved by Caesar and had betrayed him. The stab made by Brutus took away Caesar's life as it was the harshest. Why? Now Caesar realized that he had been betrayed by a friend. His powerful heart was broken and he fell at the base of Pompey's statue. With Caesar's fall, all the Roman people or Roman fell as Rome's betrayer became victorious. So those who betrayed Caesar, so they betray Rome, and Rome's betrayer become victorious. So he saw them, means weeping for Caesar's death, and had pity for him. Their tears were precious drops, and that they should stop them from falling, as they held Caesar's dress, which had been wounded and smeared by his traitors. So the first citizen said that, "Oh, piteous spectacle!" The first citizen commented that Caesar's body was pitiable or sad. Second citizen said, "Oh, noble Caesar." The second citizen also grieved that Caesar was a noble man. Third citizen said, "Oh, awful day." The third citizen also said that it was a awful day or sad day. Fourth citizen said, "Oh, traitor villains." Then first citizen said, "Oh, most bloody sight." Second citizen said, "We will be revenged." And all said at the same time, "Revenge about sick, burn, fire, kill, slay. Let not a traitor leave." The crowd was enraged. The crowd was full of anger and shouted to seek revenge for Caesar's killing. They wanted to, find the killers and slay them. They said that no one of the conspirators should remain alive. Antony said, "Stay, countrymen." So, when Antony asked the people of Rome to stop, first citizen said, "Peace here, peace there." Hear the noble Antony. So, second citizen said, "We will hear him, we follow him, we will die with him." Right? So, it means people are ready to hear, people are ready to follow, people are ready to die with Antony. Antony said that, "Good friends, sweet friends, let me not stir you off to such a sudden flood of mutiny. They that have done this deed are honorable. So what private griefs they have, alas, I know not, that made them to do it. They are wise and honorable, and will, no doubt, with reasons answer you. I come not, friends, to steal away your hearts. I am no orator, as Brutus is. So he said that he is no orator, not a birth speaker like Brutus is. But as you know me all, a plain, blunt man, that love my friend and that they know full well, that gave me public lip to speak of him. For I have neither wit nor words, nor word, action, nor utterance, nor the power of speech. To stir men's blood, I only speak right on. I tell you that which you yourselves do know. Show you sweet Caesar's wounds, poor, dumb mouths, and bid them speak for me. But were I Brutus? And Brutus Antony, there were an Antony, would ruffle up your spirits and put a tongue in every wound of Caesar that should move the stones of Rome to rise and mutiny. So it means what? At last, the wave of violence was created by Antony with his intelligence, with his authority, with his gestures, with his, you can say that what, speech or utterance. So before the audience. So Antony addressed the crowd as his good friends and said that he did not want to arouse a wave of violence or called as a means a flood of mutiny. He was said that he did not know what personal indifferences did the conspirators have with the Caesar, due to which they murdered him. As they were wise men and commanded respect, they would have valid reasons for killing Caesar. He did not want to make the crowd hard hearted and fill their hearts with a hatred. He said that what he was not skilled at public speaking like Brutus but was a straightforward person instead. The senators who permitted Antony to give the speech knew that he was neither intelligent nor did he have the art of public speaking. And so he would not be able to arouse the crowd against them. Antony only spoke the truth, and you can say that what Antony only showed them the wounds on Caesar's body. The open wounds were like what mouths which could not speak for justice. Antony said that what if he were as good as Brutus at public speaking, then he would have been able to arouse the crowd to become violent and become the voice of Caesar's wounds. Then he would be able to provoke or influence a crowd to seek justice on behalf of the wounds on Caesar's body. Even the stone-hearted people would be moved with emotions and seek justice. So immediately all the crowd started and said, "We will mutiny." The crowd rose to violence. First citizen said, "We will burn the house of Brutus." The first citizen said that they would burn the house of Brutus. Third citizen say, "Away then, come seek the conspirators." So the third citizens called the crowd to move and look for the conspirators. Antony said, "Yet hear me, countrymen, yet hear me speak." Antony stopped the crowd again, and as he wanted to hear him speak. So again all said, "Peace, ho, hear Antony, most noble Antony." So Antony said, "Why, friends, you go to do you know not what? Wherein hath Caesar thus deserved your love? I am surprised you know not. I must tell you then. You have forgot the will I told you of." Right. So Antony said that he had not yet told them the Caesar deserved to be loved by the Roman. They had forgotten to read Caesar's will. So all said, "Most true, the will, let's stay and hear the will." So Antony said, "Here is the will, and under Caesar's seal. To every Roman citizen he gives, to every several man, 75 drachmas." So drachmas is called as a silver coins. So Antony showed them the will, which had Caesar's official stamp on it, and he read it and said, Caesar had given 75 silver coins to every citizen of Rome. Second citizen said, "Most noble Caesar, we will revenge his death." So third citizen said, "Oh, royal Caesar." So Antony said, "Hear me with patience." So again all said, "Peace." So Antony said, "Moreover, he has left you all his works, his private arbors, and new planted orchards. On this side, Tiber, he has left them you, and to your heads forever common pleasures, to walk abroad and recreate yourselves. Here was a Caesar when comes such another." So Antony read the will further and said that Caesar had even bequeathed his gardens, the flowery shelters, and the fruit trees by the side of the Tiber River, Tiber River to the people of Rome. They were for the Romans to use for, enjoyment, recreation. He added that this was the true Caesar and he was a rare person that you find another. First citizen said, "Never, never come away, away. We will burn his body in the holy place, and with the brand's fire, the traitors' houses. Take up the body." So the first citizen said that what they would treat Caesar's body like a means pious, holy, sacred object and burn it in a holy place. They would take the burning wood from Caesar's funeral and burn the houses of his killers with it. He asked the crowd to pick the body. So second citizen said, "Go fetch fire." The second citizen asked for fire. Third citizen said, "Plug down benches." The third citizen also suggested that they could pull the benches out and use the wood for fire. The crowd was so restless that it could wait no longer. Fourth citizen said that plug down forms, windows, anything. The fourth citizen suggested that, "Hey, pull anything, forms, window frames, so that they will burn." So exeunt citizen with the body. So the citizen went with the Caesar's body. Antony said, "Now let's work. Mischief, thou art afoot. Take thou what course thou wilt." So afoot means called as started, isn't it? So means Antony said to himself what? Antony said to himself that Now the crowd would work on its own and deliver justice to Caesar. He said that now bad behavior had started and it would take further course of action that needed fit or that deemed appropriate to these people. So finally, and exeunt, Antony exited the stage, right? So you find out that what and Antony instigates the move or instigates the crowd to take the revenge. He then sits with Octavius Caesar, Julius Caesar's nephew, right?
Hmm.
So Octavius Caesar, coldly calculating how to purge any further threat or future threat. Brutus and Cassius, they fall apart as the idealist in Brutus is outraged by Cassius' practicality, right? So the armies of Octavius Caesar and Antony clash with those of Brutus and Cassius at Philippi and Sardis. Brutus and Cassius are defeated and both committed suicide. So which is nothing but end of the end of this uh,
Complete drama.
complete drama. So this drama clearly indicating what actually, what have you means, what have you understood and what have you taken uh, from this particular drama?
Sir, the thing that mostly attracted me was like Antony's speech, because as per whatever is given in this paragraph, two things actually attracted me. One is Julius, whatever the deeds which Julius did, and Antony's speech. Both were really good friends and they trusted each other a lot. Julius was kind to everyone. He was so generous that he was ready to sacrifice all of his things to the people of Rome. He also, along with generous, he was a great warrior and remained undefeated for so many years. So it shows that if someone has strength, someone is brave and is prideful and is as well as generous and kind to people, he can leave a remark and create a history. And second thing which I saw is Antony. Antony was so down to earth, and he always thought himself, always said himself as he was like not good at public speaking. He had no skills and nothing at all. But what he did, but whatever he said and did was like someone who has only mastered the art of speaking can do it. And this shows that how Antony, with his wit, can just turn the tables where everyone was supporting Brutus and was happy for death. Now everyone is desperate to give him to burn him and desperate to take revenge of Julius from the conspirators. This is how words can turn the tables. And from Julius, what I learned that if you have what you have done is so kind and greatest among all, then you can create history. Because on the basis of what Julius did only, Antony spoke, for which the crowd was agitated against the conspirators.
Yeah, so that's what you can draw from this particular drama. So you can say that the moral of William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar that revolves around the themes of power, themes of betrayal, the consequences of ambition, right? If you talk about that, the corruption, influence of power, the complexity of loyalty and betrayal. Third, the consequences of political, you know, manipulation. Then moral confusion of actions, like because the play presents actions and characters in shades of what? Gray, rather than clear-cut right or wrong. Brutus' moral dilemma, moral confusion, and the conspirators' understanding that reflect the complexity of ethical decision making. And that emphasizes that even well-intentioned action can result in bad or harmful. right? Even if Brutus, who have a more love to uh, Rome
Rome,
than Brutus, than Caesar,
Caesar.
isn't it? So,
Yes,
but that result in unforeseen to him,
yes,
unforeseen
sir.
harm to him. So even the inevitability or uh, surely fate and consequence. Despite the conspirators' efforts, Caesar's death lead to what? Turmoil rather than peace. So the play suggests that what attempting to control fate or undermine destiny. So what they are trying to do, they are trying to control the fate, destiny, you can say, or weakening to the luck, and that often leads to what? Leads to unintended and tragic consequences. So, all total in summary, I can say Julius Caesar serves as a cautionary story about the dangers of ambition, the weakening of loyalty, and the far-reaching result of political decisions. It weakens the importance of knowledge, integrity, and you can say that future leadership and governance.
So,
Right?
what does all this? What disintegrates the means governance, decision making? What does it?
What? What?
So you said that it disintegrates the future and it.
Disintegrated. I did not say disintegrated. What did I say? That Julius Caesar serves as a kind of a cautionary. Cautionary means what? A warning, isn't
What?
it? So it, Julius Caesar serves as what? A kind of a warning. Warning to whom? Warning about what? Warning. It's a kind of a story that gives you warning that what? The dangers of ambition. So if you are ambitious, what will be the means situation for you? So the weakening of loyalty. So how means loyalty is something called the weakening one. So loyalty means what? You find out who means Brutus, who is a good friend of Caesar, but at the same time he is not that loyal. Second is second is called the far-reaching consequences of political decisions. So and another thing is called as it weakening the importance of wisdom. So the knowledge that is nothing but a weakening here. Integrity. Integrity is called as just respect and also future in leadership and governance. Even if you talk about that, what we learn from the lesson of what we learn the lesson from Antony's speech. So Mark Antony's funeral speech in Julius Caesar is one of the most powerful moments in
I
Shakespeare's
should.
plays. Why? Because it offers huge lessons about what? Huge lessons about persuasion, human emotions, and you know, the impact of communication.
Yes.
So, if you talk about the power of communication, so Antony's speech demonstrates how carefully he chose words. How carefully he chose words and how strategically he uses can move the crowd. He subtly or he completely, weakening the conspirators while pretending that what? He was respecting them by repeating the line called as a Brutus is an honorable man,
Honorable.
gradually turning the phrase into sarcasm.
Yes,
Turning the
sir.
phrase into sarcasm means criticism.
Yes, sir.
And this line clearly teaches the lesson that what words have huge power to influence and change mind if you use or when you use skillfully, isn't
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes, sir.
So that is what. Second is called as a you need to understand emotional connection. Emotional connection wins hearts. So Antony appeals to the crowd's emotion by showing what Caesar's will. Antony appeals to the crowd's emotion by showing Caesar's will and pointing out his wounds as evidence of betrayal. His sadness feels shows what genuine, which resonate with the audience. So that's why here you find out the lesson appealing to emotions rather than just logic can be more effective in persuading people. Then third one is called as understand your audience. Antony knows that the Roman crowd's emotion and their fluctuation, volatility, and play to their sense of loyalty and justice. So he subtly stirs anger by mentoring Caesar's generosity, by producing the will and the conspirators' betrayal. So that is therefore you should know and understand your audience is crucial for effective audience or effective communication, right? So then you find out that means the danger of manipulating public opinion. So you can say that Antony's speech is a master class in persuading, convincing all the audience. It also highlights the risk of manipulating people. His words encourage the crowd to do the violence, leading to confusion and bloodshed. So the lesson gives us the idea that while convincing is a powerful tool, it must be used responsibly. Why? Because as it can have unintended consequences, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, lastly, I could say,
If someone convinces someone in a wrong way, then it can affect the whole future, we can say. Means
yeah,
what
so,
we want
mm,
and
mm,
what is happening right now will be different
yes.
a lot.
So therefore, the conclusion of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar offer profound lessons on leadership, ambition, loyalty, and the consequences of political conflict. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So the drama ultimately teaches those of the things, right? So it also highlights the complexity of human motives and the weakening of leadership. The play is nothing but serves as a timeless reminder of the importance of integrity, foresight, and responsibility in political and personal actions. Okay,
Yes, sir.
that's all for the day. Thank you. We'll meet in the next class. So, tomorrow, you want me to do another class of yours?
Yes, sir. If means tomorrow means if you can give me some questions for practice, like for writing part, grammar part, then it will be
I'll do
okay.
that. I'll do that. I'll prepare some of the questions today and we'll give it to you.
Especially, sir, for the that means for the letter, we have four kinds of letter to the
I know that.
editor
I know
placing.
that. Hmm. You
And
just send
another
me.
thing is that
You just send me some of the so name of the letters. I'll send you questions. Okay.
and so another thing is added, that is inquiry. I don't know what is that.
Ariba. Okay. Okay. That I'll also give you some means
Sir,
explanation
chapter
and
is over now.
yeah.
Chapter is over now. Now I am class 10th English graduate because the syllabus is completed.
Okay. ठीक है.
English literature graduate.
Okay. Bye for now. Meet you in the next class. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.